Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. Kaladesh spoilers have been hitting us from every direction and it doesn't look like we'll be slowing down anytime soon. In this video, we have a few really important cards to talk about, including one that I specifically waited until I had more time to write about it. There are about to be so many feels, I can't even explain it. So sit back, relax, and get ready for the emotional ride of your life. And if you enjoy our Kaladesh preview videos, be sure to hit the like button, helps out a lot. Aetherflux Reservoir is 4 mana for an artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. You can pay 50 life, and the Reservoir deals 50 damage to target creature or player. What? What even is this card? You can pay 50 life to actually nuke something or someone for 50 damage. When the card was first released, it was clearly designed as a Commander staple, so that's how we're going to talk about the stupid thing. In Commander, you start at 40 life, so we're already most of the way there. Oloro doesn't even have to try to get to 50 life, so that's a free activation, killing someone on the spot, no big deal there. How about Sidri, Galvanic Genius? Animate the Reservoir, give it lifelink and death touch. Whenever you deal 50 damage to something, you gain 50 life. You can chain this and legit demolish the entire table in one fell swoop as long as you don't die to a burn spell or something when you're super low. But you get my point. Even a little card like Children of Corliss can sacrifice to gain you life equal to the life you lost this turn, which means you can gain back 50 life. Do you see what's going on here? The Reservoir is absurd for the cost. And while I'm not ready to say that it's crazy broken beyond reason, it comes with an easy to trigger life gain ability, goes into every deck because it's an artifact, and there are plenty of ways to manipulate that ability to copy it. Tainted Sigil, Exquisite Blood. Okay, I'm done. This card is outrageous. Today we got to see the rest of the Puzzle Knot cycle that we started this past weekend with this little guy. We'll begin with Cogworker's Puzzle Knot. 2 mana for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 servo artifact creature token. You can also pay 1 of anything and 1 white and sacrifice it to create a 1/1 servo token. It's pretty straightforward. Now, we've seen Inventor's Fair basically representing pseudo-metalcraft. 2 mana for a 1/1, then 2 more mana for another 1/1 is a tad expensive, but if speculation is right, we could still see some more cards that care about artifacts on the battlefield. If this ends up not being the case, then this card is limited fabricate fodder at best. Fireforger's Puzzle Knot is 2 mana for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. You can also pay 3 and sacrifice it to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. This is a bit better than the Cogworker's Puzzle Knot if there aren't too many artifact shenanigans in the set. Removal is always great, and while 1 damage isn't going to kill everything, getting to knock down a few Thopters before they can be fabricated is pretty nice. Or killing something small that your opponent is using to crew a vehicle, not bad. A bit better than the Cogworkers, but still underwhelming. Glassblower's Puzzle Knot is 2 mana for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2, then you get 2 energy. You can also pay 3 and sacrifice it to scry 2, then get 2 energy counters. Yes! This is my kind of Puzzle Knot. Wow! Not only do you get valuable card filtering and multiple scry 2 effects, but you net gain 4 energy, and we've already seen multiple ways energy is useful. Very cool, certainly my favorite of the Puzzle Knots revealed today. Our last Puzzle Knot of the day is Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot, a 2 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life. You can also pay 3 and sacrifice it to draw a card and lose 1 life. Well, I really like the Glassblower's Knot, but this one straight up draws me a card. Really hard to say no to that one. Again, it'll definitely depend on energy if the Glassblower's is better, but head to head I like drawing extra cards, especially if I can draw multiple cards off the same card. I'll take it. Paradoxical Outcome is 4 mana for an instant. Return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to their owner's hands. Draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. Alright, before we even talk about functionality, we have to discuss what's going on here. Flavor text, quote, "The results of Rashmi's experimentation forced her to consider the possibility that multitudinous realities existed beyond her own." Okay, this is not a good thing. We're going to catch you all up on Kaladesh lore soon, but Rashmi is basically opening portals to other worlds, and Saheeli told her to, stop. If Rashmi doesn't shut up and stop looking, eventually she's going to find new Phyrexia. She will. That's how the world works. So while I don't think that Aether Revolt is going to bring the Phyrexians, she really needs to cool it. Because if they can find something akin to a planar portal or any way to get off their world, the Phyrexians are going to do what they've always done, complicate. If she only knew. Wow, this is terrifying. If we're talking playability, this is an incredibly awkward way to get cards in your hand. You're obviously sending yourself back a crazy amount since you can only return non-land, non-token permanents you control. So no taking advantage of token shenanigans. Probably a deck like Storm or High Tide that uses a ton of free or cheap mana rocks. Return them all, basically draw a bunch of stuff, reset your mana, go nuts. I think that's probably the best use for a card like this. Of course, it does inherently help you against board wiping, but still, I prefer the mana rock hilarity. Noxious Gearhulk is 4 of anything and 2 black for a 5/4 artifact creature construct with menace. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. Okay, let me be very clear here, like crystal clear. Noxious Gearhulk is, without a doubt, one of the best limited cards printed in the last few years, to say the very least. Before we even talk constructed, this is what a true bomb looks like. 6 mana for a 5/4 with menace. Okay, removal spell on it? Super. And you gain life equal to the creature's toughness you destroy? What? It's just overkill. Yes, I know it's a mythic, but this is so brutal. Evasion, removal, life gain on a big beater and it's 6 mana. Make no mistake, this is what a 10 out of 10 limited card looks like. Not joking, Noxious Gearhulk is broken. If we're talking constructed, let's just add this to the list of stupid cards that Eldrazi Displacer interacts really well with. I wonder if this could be one of those 1 to 2 copies in a black control deck finisher kind of cards. We'll see, of course, but this is huge. If we're talking commander, a Loro or any life gain commander really. Wow, this card really is insane. I can't believe it was printed like this. Like, it's really brutal. The artifact titans are crazy. Okay, prepare yourselves. This is going to get tear-filled. We'll begin with quoting this week's magic story. Quote, "And then, gaping at the woman with the hair like hers, Chandra finally found a word of her own. She coaxed it to the surface of her mind out of a sea of shock, and finally managed to breathe it out loud. Mom." Pia Nalaar is 3 mana for a 2/2 legendary creature human artificer. When she enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 Thopter token with flying. You can pay 2 mana and target artifact creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. You can also pay 1 and sacrifice an artifact and target creature can't block this turn. Okay, just wait. Pia Nalaar is alive. Chandra's friggin' mom is alive. Her mom's death was one of the reasons her spark ignited in the first place. Are you serious? She's alive? This is such a beautiful reunion. I cannot wait to see how Chandra really handles this because if we're being honest, she doesn't exactly deal with problems all that, constructively, if you know what I mean. Oh boy. More info about Pia. Tezzeret refers to her as Renegade Prime. What most people are thinking is that she's going to lead a revolt against the consulate because she's awesome as all heck, so we'll see how that plays out. Now if we're talking playability, because, I guess we should for a second, 3 mana for 3 power on the board is perfectly fine, especially when one of that comes with evasion. Being able to pump said artifact creature not bad, and while sacking artifacts isn't that great unless you're in a very specific deck, this does allow you to sacrifice clues, which is nice. Of course you don't get to draw cards, but Tireless Tracker does get bigger, so that's hilarious as well. As far as commander play is concerned, New Grenzo. This fits perfectly in there. Creates more attackers, stops blockers, exactly what you want. Now, there's only one thing left to talk about in regards to Pia. We have to look at this card more carefully, and I waited until the end so we could all just cry together. Let's take a look at Pia and Kieran Nalaar from Magic Origins. They created 2 Thopters together. Now Pia only creates 1. Her abilities are less impactful by herself, and she's holding Kieran's goggles in her hand. Are you kidding me? I didn't need this kind of emotional swing today. I really didn't. Mom, if you're listening, I love you. Bristling Hydra is 2 of anything and 2 green for a 4/3 Hydra. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy counters. You can also pay 3 energy counters to put a +1/+1 counter on the Hydra, and it gains hexproof until end of turn. Yes! This is a great top end for our red-green energy deck that is definitely going to exist. Seriously, we've gotten some really cool pieces for a deck like this. Lathnu Hellion, Voltaic Brawler, Territorial Gorger, now the Hydra. This is a solid group of top-tier creatures. If we can get some additional energy creators like, Harnessed Lightning, then we're off to the races. Just saying, I like where this is going. Even without that deck, this is a 4-mana 4/3 that becomes a 4-mana 5/4 with hexproof for a turn, assuredly used to dodge a removal spell. That's some solid value. Fairly costed, big body, I'll take it. Kaladesh is deep in flavor, playability, various formats, and complex card design. If you're not excited about at least something from the set by now, I don't know if you will be. There's been something for most players, and we're not even halfway through preview season yet. Keep that in mind. The halfway mark is still a few days away. We have another whole week and a half left of this preview season. Let that sink in for a second. Anyways, let me know what you think. I gotta know where you are right now. Have you pre-ordered the set yet? Is that something you're even interested in? What do you think about the new Gearhulk Titans, that stupid 50 life artifact? I need to know. As always, be sure to subscribe for the latest and most reliable Kaladesh spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGPlayer.com. Kaladesh is shaping up to be something pretty special if you ask me. You can pre-order boxes of the set right now for $97 each if you don't want to wait. If your local area is overcharging you too much, TCG Player is always there. So if you decide you want to splurge on the set, bam, click that link right there, get some delicious Kaladesh goodness, and be merry. Enjoy.
Wow.